I didn't ask them to come back. I don't, but I want you to know, I did it right. Yeah. No, Thursday, it may have March. It's normally, I noticed in the night.
Okay, Mr. St. Hilaire, it is now 7 o'clock.
We'll now call this meeting to order. Good evening, Willingboro Township. Roll call. Council member Jerome,
Present.
Council member Whitfield,
Present.
Council member Dr. Worthy,
Present.
Deputy Mayor Anderson,
Present.
and Mayor McIntosh.
Present. Going to the prayer.
We'll now go into the prayer.
Let us all pray. Dear Heavenly Father, God Almighty, we just thank you, Lord, for this day that you allowed us the strength of our bodies, the rightness of our minds to experience in its fullness. God, we just thank you for your continued grace and blessings on this community called Willingboro Township. We ask that you continue to shine show your face towards us and pour your blessings down upon us. God, we ask that this meeting be conducted in accordance with your will, that it be done in decency and in order so we can do the best that we can for the persons in this community. We thank you for all of your grace and mercy and your blessings. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen.
You'll now stand for the flag salute, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Reading of the compliance statement. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, this is to announce that adequate notice of this meeting was provided in the following manner. Advance written notice of this meeting was posted on the bulletin board in the municipal complex and was mailed to the Berlin County Times, the Intelligencer, and the Courier Times. Advance written notice of this meeting was filed with the township clerk. The clerk is directed to enter into the minutes of this meeting this public announcement.
Thank
Yep.
you. Well, good evening, everyone. Good to see everyone out in person and online. Welcome to today's council meeting for February 20th, 2024. We will start with our manager's municipal updates.
Good morning, Mayor and governing body members, residents of Willingboro Township. I did submit the full report for January for your review, and I'll just go over some highlights for this evening, just to update on some things. On Thursday, October the 5th, back in 2023, okay, can you hear it better? This is as close as we can get. Okay. On Thursday, October 5th, the Willingboro Township Municipal Court hosted a formal security meeting following directives of number 15-06 for the statewide municipal court security policy and the New Jersey Municipal Court Schedule of Protection. We received the report from that meeting, and Lieutenant Toner will be working in conjunction with IT and our buildings and ground persons to put those recommendations into effect. I know, Dr. Worthy, you had requested at one point a type of exit be put on that. That was not approved. So, but that doesn't mean that it won't happen, but we'll talk about it later. Also, a few months ago, the tax assessor was here and was explaining the new revaluation process that was transpiring throughout the communities in Burlington County. To move that process forward, we have brought on board an assistant assessor who will be going door to door, doing revaluation inspections of Willingboro properties. We are tasked to do revaluations, which I believe are 25% of our homes each year, so that every 4 years, we have a complete 100% revaluation. So the tax assessor is in the process now of putting to communications that we will be providing to the residents, so they have a little better understanding of who it is coming on, knocking on their door, and why we are going through this process. We will also be adding an HR component to our Prime Point system, which is our payroll system, currently used here in the township for payroll management. The additional components will will automate many of the processes we are now utilizing paper forms for, and will give employees access to certain items and view and perform certain services in a self-service portal. This will facilitate the onboarding and offboarding process that allows for certain approvals, capture signatures, complete digital forms, and communicate between departments. For example, when we have a new hire, a workflow would notify IT that that individual would need to be set up with an email address. They would need to get a new badge or a computer for the employee and things like that, as well as automatically process that employee into the payroll processing, time and attendance systems, and basic HR systems, which are currently all being done manually. I believe this will add efficiency to our departments and allow us to keep our additional staffing to a minimum by automating some of these human manual processes. On February 27th at 6 p.m. at the JFK Center, we will be hosting a community forum to inform and discuss ShotSpotter technology with our residents, businesses, and other Willingboro stakeholders. And I'm going to ask Captain Bucks if he will come now just to give a brief synopsis of what is going to transpire at that event and what ShotSpotter is.
Good evening, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, Council, Willingboro residents. If you guys remember, about a year ago, we were given a grant for ShotSpotter, which is now called Sound Thinking. That grant was for $99,000, which gave us the ability to purchase that equipment at no cost to the taxpayers for 2 years. And part of that technology and that software is for outside gun detection. So there's certain acoustic audible devices that are going to be strategically placed throughout the municipality. And part of the process and part of the forum that we're going to do on the 27th at the Kennedy Center at 6 p.m. is we'll have representatives from the township, the police department, and Sound Thinking to go over, the technology, answer any questions or concerns that residents may or may not have.
Thank you, Captain Bucks, and we do encourage all of the residents to come out and participate on February the 27th, again at 6 p.m. at the JFK Center. In line with that, the Willingboro Neighborhood Watch will be having their next meeting on 5 days ago. So we'll catch you next month. Thank you. I would like to, I'm sorry? The third Thursday, yes. On Thursday, the 15th, DPW did a township-wide streetlight inventory and identified 122 lights that were out, which have been reported to PSC&G for repair. They did address 11 pothole complaints throughout the month and filling in 12 actually. They are still out collecting trash on our main roads. 156 30-gallon trash bags of material were collected. On our parks, we collected 28 30-gallon trash bags of material. And they've been busy also collecting Christmas trees throughout the month. They collected over 135 Christmas trees, and they are still out collecting loads of leaves, totaling last month 875 cubic yards. I just want to announce that Willingboro residents can get their taxes done during the tax season. Services are being provided through the AARP Foundation Tax Aid. If you're interested in getting your 2023 taxes prepared for free, you can get in touch with the Senior Center by calling 609-877-8444 to schedule an appointment, and that is a free service to anyone in Willingboro who is interested in getting their 2023 taxes prepared. A few months ago, there was a request to investigate having a traffic light installed on Beverly Rancocas Road and Windsor Lane. Sean, can you put up the PowerPoint for this at this time? I just want to go over some of the results that were sent back to us. Unfortunately, the county did not warrant or feel that a traffic light is warranted at that location. There were 9 warrants that they looked at or could look at to justify the installation of a traffic light. In Willingboro, they used 4 of the 9, number 1 being an 8-hour vehicular volume. The second one was a 4-hour vehicular volume. The third one were peak hour vehicular volumes. And then warrant number 7, they utilized crash experience. Sean, can you go to the next page, please? The first warrant, which they just kind of measured the number of vehicles that traveled during up and down the roads during critical periods of time. The vehicles per hour were given both of the 100% columns, condition B, and there's a table that's attached to the back. If anyone wants access to it, we'll have this on our website for your review. But most important, their evaluation was that in relation to the 8-hour vehicular volume, that the review of the data indicates that we just don't have enough vehicular traffic to meet the requirements to install a traffic light at that intersection. The second warrant that they went through was the 4-hour vehicular volume, which is associated with vehicle volume during any 4 hours of a typical day. And the collected volumes compared to the requirements for warranty are not satisfied also for that intersection. The third thing that they looked at was the peak hour. And if all of 3 certain conditions were met during these peak hour investigations, then they would consider or could be considered to have a traffic light installed there. Sean, you can go to the next page, please. And it was determined that the collected volume compared to the requirements for warrant 3 peak hours indicated that the volume requirements are not satisfied for that intersection. And then the last one they looked at, Sean, you can switch to the next page, is the crash experience. So the collected data for that intersection at Beverly Rancocas Road and Windsor Lane indicates that again, that the signal warrants that would apply to the intersection are not satisfied due to the conclusion. Due to this conclusion, a traffic control signal would not be warranted at this location. And attached to this are the different graphs and outcomes that they utilize to make their determinations. So we are in discussion with our engineer as to what other alternatives that could possibly be done to kind of regulate or help regulate the traffic in that area. But none have been identified as of yet, but we are still working on it. So I just wanted to give the council and the community an update on that particular instance or issue. I'm going to ask Mr. Laurie to come and give you a quick presentation on some modifications that we are doing with teams to keep the council better informed on some of the projects that are going on in the township and some of the issues that are brought to us by the residents. Mr. Laurie?
Mayor, Deputy Mayor, Council, members of the public, good evening. Sean, can you promote me, please?
No, don't promote him. No. Just
Whatever
give
you
him
can offer, I
access.
appreciate it. Thank you. That's funny. Okay, so to start off, we're using Microsoft Teams. This is birthed from a conversation I was having with the mayor and Dr. Worthy a few weeks ago. And we were talking about the ways that we could, just figure out how to best communicate the different projects that are happening in Willingboro, how we can just kind of streamline these things and just have a one-stop shop where they can keep track of projects, the council being they, and here's what we came up with, right? Teams is pretty, depending on, it can be simple, it can be cumbersome, but for the most part, it's pretty simple, right? So we created is that my mouse? Yeah. A Teams channel for the Willingboro Township Council and the administration to communicate back and forth updates for different projects. There's two tabs that will work out of primarily the general tab and the announcement tab. The general tab will house the different projects. So here you can see the bid opening for the 2023 road segment project, the funding through the iBank. So those are just general posts, right? So common updates that we'll have throughout. You'll see the same thing with the multi-location stormwater infrastructure improvement project, public works manager, updates, information about the new affordable housing legislation, Microsoft Teams training. Unfortunately, Teams doesn't offer live trainings. However, they do have training videos that are between 30 seconds to 2 minutes long, and they're pretty easy to grasp. Same thing with the annual report updates. We'll be working with Dr. Worthy and the mayor on getting that together. So those are the posts for the general tab. The general tab, we can also house files in it. In this file section, you'll see that we have folders for things that obviously need to be there, right? The country club pool, the manager's updates are in there. So if the council wants to go back and refer to anything that was mentioned to during the meeting from Mr. Harris through his updates, those will be in there. Other things, there's a healthcare memo that's in there that we'll probably talk about a little later tonight. The SOPs. Some folks have already jumped in here. Councilwoman Perone has been in here. She's added a document. And then we have the notes section. And I probably don't need to go through every single one, but I just want to give, so the notes, if there's like a meeting, if we want to take notes for the meeting tonight, especially for things that were probably mentioned during public comment, we can add those to this section. I did create there's a projects tab and then there's a council meeting notes. Those could all be added there as well so that we can refer to those as a collective. The big part would be these two sections here, the issue tracker, things that's reported to us through council, things that are reported from the meetings through public comment. We can add those here. The last meeting, or the meeting before, someone spoke about the speed bumps at Buckeye Lane. We added that here. Project tracker, we can add the projects that are currently in play. We have the Triad grant writing, Borrego Park Playground, Pennypacker Pool, the annual reports in here, the Township Council's seal and the seal for the mayor's office, and that office upgrade as well, especially as well as the Wi-Fi at Mill Creek Park. The announcement tab is just general information. Excuse me. General information. We have the Black History Month activities in there, the grand opening invitation that the council received and the administration received from the 1911 Smokehouse. There was filming that happened at the complex earlier this month. And then Prevention Plus of Burlington Counties is looking to is using space here at the JFK Center for their Strengthening Families program. So to access all of this, right? So if you go to OneDrive, if you go to office.com, you'll sign in. This should be your landing page as soon as you sign in. Or if you're on a desktop, it'll look a little different. But if you're going to use it from the web, you'll go to Office 360, office.com. You'll click down here to Teams, and then it'll bring you to this this main section here. I have a few more Teams channels, so I'll just keep it to this one here. But you'll see it. It'll be in general, of course, or you'll be in announcements. We can add as many channels as necessary. So whatever, if you guys have any information or any ideas that you would like to have in terms of channels, absolutely let me know, or you can create them yourself because you have that ability to do so as well. Are there any questions? All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lowry. And we're going to do in-house training on Teams for our employees. And this platform is going to be our primary mechanism for internal communications because it is much more expedient and easy to navigate through than email. So change is coming. Last but not least, I am going to just ask Ms. Jackson if she will just come and give us the going-ons for the township over the next couple of weeks.
Good evening, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, Council, and all residents assembled. Just to close out Black History Month on Thursday, February 22nd, the Recreation and Parks Department is hosting a Black History movie night, and that will be at 7 o'clock at the Kennedy Center. All are invited for that. And then on Saturday, February 24th, the Willingboro Public Library is hosting Ambition the Poet, special one-man show of poetry and music that all can enjoy. This is also a free event. It will begin at 3 o'clock and all are invited. And just since March is right around the corner, I will let you know that the first Saturday in March is our Storytime celebration at the Kennedy Center. That's Saturday, March 2nd at 10 a.m. We're excited once again to host Nettie, Nana, and friends, and we'll feature Corey Eats Everything. As always, this promises to be a treat for our younger readers as well as for the entire family. So we invite everyone to be a part of that. And then as we embrace an early Easter this year, the Easter Extravaganza, which is the drive-through event, that will be at the Kennedy Center on Saturday, March 16th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. or while supplies last. As always, donations of candy and those who want to volunteer to distribute and donate candy are always welcome. So contact the Recreation and Parks Department for more information regarding that event. And then on Saturday, March 23rd, we will have entertainment for our little ones with the Easter egg hunt-tastic. And this is a rain or shine event, as is the Easter Extravaganza, and open to ages 3 to 6 years old. All children must be accompanied by an adult. And more information regarding this can also be obtained by contacting Recreation and Parks. And this year's event is co-sponsored by the Sanctuary Foundation. So we're looking forward to that collaboration. So this event and all events are always posted on our website and our social media pages and by subscribing to Willingboro Weekly. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. And that is all that I have to present to you as far as updates for this evening.
Are there any questions for Mr. Harris? Dr. Worthy?
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Mr. Harris, I had a few questions related to the traffic study that the county did. And I guess I'm just a bit concerned. I understand that they are not recommending that we move forward and we look at other things. But one of the reasons why this became an issue that council wanted to look into was because residents expressed the danger that they had and accidents they had been in personally at that intersection. And because this is a preventative measure, we're looking at data and it appears that the county is saying, well, it hasn't been enough accidents in order to put some kind of traffic calming in there or to add a light. But I thought we'd be looking at this to do something preventative. And so we'd have leading indicators versus lagging indicators, which would be a bunch of accidents. So I'm not comfortable with just saying, no traffic light. I am curious to know what else we can do. I know you said we could look into other traffic calming measures and I don't know what that will be, but I'm not, I don't know what perhaps we can reconsider what the county has said or even reject their recommendation and see what would need to be done. I just don't want us to get to a point where we're waiting to see how many more accidents are going to happen before we take action, because this conversation started because residents were in those traffic accidents.
I agree with you 100%, Dr. Worthy, and this was just a report from the engineering department that did the traffic study. But I agree with you 100%, that, yeah, I understand their position, but that's really that's not the final answer. It can't be the final answer because we know the amount of development that is going around us, especially on 295 in West Hampton, and it's just a straight beeline down Beverly Rancocas Road to 130 and yeah,
Tractor trailers.
tractor trailers and truck traffic has increased there. So part of my plan B is to begin to visit the county commissioners meetings and advocate to them on behalf of Willingboro, and again, have discussions with our engineer about realistic options that we could put into place. And, we can reject this appointment because we're trying to save lives, not just preserve a status quo. So I agree with you 100%. Thank you.
Thank you. And before we disrupt the county meetings, I know we could reach out to our county commissioner director Hobson to have a conversation with her before going to those meetings. She's often very receptive and open, especially since Willingboro is home.
Yes, thank you.
Madam Mayor.
Councilwoman Pearl?
Thank you. Mr. Harris, this question is relating to the SOPs. I know you had shared a draft of the SOP, and then I responded with an example of more towards what the SOP should entail and what it should look like. I did send that on the 5th of February. I didn't see a response, and I did share it in Teams. I wanted to know, is that something you're working on and you just haven't posted it, or did you have any questions about the example?
I did receive your examples and recommendations, and I actually incorporated some of them into the SOP today. It's still a work in progress, and I will share, the update. But I would still, again, welcome any other additional comments that any of the council members would have in regard to that particular matter.
I might have missed what you said. Did you say you've updated the sample that I created, or you have a different one?
I incorporated some of the recommendations that you gave into the piece that I put together. Yes.
So the layout that you sent initially, you're still working on that format?
Yes.
Okay, so the layout that I sent to you, that's what it should look like not a whole book on the Faulkner Act and our governance. Very specific on operating and communicating with individuals as the SOP had laid out. So that's more simplified way of communicating. Is that something you can do where you can, if you want to incorporate the Faulkner Act on that example? Can you use that as a shell as far as?
Well, the sample that you provided me was specifically related how to acquire funds for like food shopping and things related to parades and events. But I think an SOP has to be a little more inclusive on how a committee is going to operate in the township and not just purchasing things.
So you're correct that it does incorporate monies, dealing with exchange of money, paying for things. However, the SOP is not specifically on purchases. It's to its entirety, everything that involves with an event or the council communicating with, putting on something, so to speak, an event, right? So it's not just about money.
Right.
It's everything, the process from A to Z on what avenues to take once you're approaching this step, what forms to fill out and certain things like that. That's why when I sent the example, it was to help break down to break up the communication in a more simplified and clear capacity where everyone, the team, your staff, as well as the council members or people on the committees are able to communicate. So the format that you initially submitted, very convoluted and confusing and too much, but really just breaking it down on the example that I gave, I think would be a better format is what I'm looking for.
So if I am taking what you are saying correctly, you're not really interested in the SOP that I was putting together. You just really want me to formulate it to what you would like it to see.
Well, sir, the SOP, standard operating procedure.
Mhm.
So you did create a standard operating procedure in the format that you sent.
Right.
That format, it's confusing and it misses a lot of areas. So that's why when I sent you the SOP, that helps break down things in a more simplified fashion, no different than a resume. If somebody sent you a resume with 10 pages of paragraphs like a storybook,
Right.
it would be too much. You know, the whole story about when they went to America and how they got on the boat, as opposed to, I worked at this company, this state, this bullet format. That's how the SOP of an example that I shared with you, because it simplifies it and it still has the same objective.
Correct. And again, if I'm not mistaken, the SOP, the sample that you had sent to me was particularly related to purchasing supplies and events for particular events. But the form that I was preparing tells them, the need to establish an officer when the committees are formed, how they elect their presidents and what those responsibilities are, how they're required to keep minutes and submit those minutes to the clerk's office for recording and things like that. So if you want to have, a further conversation and sit down and collaborate, I would be more than happy to do that. And again, receive comments, from other members of the governing body, because if you're asking me to put something together, which I think is pertinent and relevant, then that's what I'm presenting to you. But if that's not what you want, then please tell me what you want.
Everything that you said is, and that's important too. How do you, because it's part of our governance. How do you select a president? How long should their term be? That's all written in our bylaws. So that should be incorporated as well. I just gave you a shell of what it should look like. So just use that format as far as when you're incorporating that detail, as far as selecting your officers, all of that. Yes, that's all great. I'm not saying to exclude that. I'm just saying to have it as a part of it for our boards and commissions.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just wanted to underscore what Councilwoman Perrone has said and add that the initial request that Councilwoman Perrone made that I was also interested in was a standard operating procedure specific to how boards and commissions can host events, how we can operate, how we can host a parade, how we can do the autism event came up, how we could do teen night. How do we operate so that we are working collaboratively with the township administration without overstepping our roles? Does it mean that we need a member from the administration on the boards and commission? How do we close the gap? And what's missing with the SOP that you provided is that. So you gave us the high level, the framework. What is a board and commission? How does that work? But the essence of what we wanted isn't there. In fact, the language in here speaks against what it is that we're even asked in terms of how to work together. It talks about There's no expectation of the administrative branch of government to execute the work of the committee. It goes on to talk about how they can't accommodate what we're trying to do. And so we're trying to get to, when we're ready to do events as a committee, how do we work with the administration? What roles, who does what? So I think that is the SOP that Councilwoman Perone was saying is missing.
Okay, understood. I thought that was in there, but we can look at it and tune it up.
Thank you.
And just real quick, and I know I said this already, but also, Mr. Harris, just Google SOPs and what it looks like, and you will see it's the format that I gave you. So just like anybody would Google how to create a resume, they all kind of have the same format, maybe different colors, but the format that I sent you, that is the format for SOP. The format you sent is not. So I just want to make sure when you come back that it's in that format. And just.
We could
Google
put it in the format. There was some language that you included that wasn't particular applicable to municipal operations, but we can tune it up.
Yeah, and I put in bold and red. This is just an example. The language, please change it. It's not, it was just an example. That's
Right.
in red, it said that. None of my language was to be accurate.
Right, we
And
can
then
tune
in
it up.
this week, the next couple of weeks, follow up with Mr. Harris, even if you come in to sit with him.
Sure.
To see, if we're accommodating what you need.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Also, Mr. Harris, we were talking about the tax reevaluation process.
Mhm.
Has that started already? Are people getting any correspondence from the township saying they're coming to inspect their homes?
Not, well, that part of is going on now, putting together those communications. The actual inspections hasn't started yet because we were in the process of hiring an inspector. So that will be
The
happening
correspondence
soon.
has started.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there something that we could maybe, put out for the masses so that they know that's coming? Because I've read or I've seen a couple of, complaints as to if it's from the township or not, or
Right.
if it's a scam. I just want to make sure it comes from, our, whether social media and our communications.
I will follow up with the assessor to make sure he's putting out the right information, and we'll make it to the masses as well. Yes.
And
Deputy Mayor,
also, as it relates to that, Ms. Harris, you did mention they would be doing 25%.
I believe that's the ratio. Yes, 25% every year.
Is that a random 25 or is by section?
I think he's going to do it by section.
Okay, so this way to the communication, if it's a particular park, that would also help.
And I just want to make sure everyone's aware. Because it seemed like they were, I didn't see any correspondence, but there were some complaints that it seemed like it was random and they weren't sure if it actually came from the township or not.
Okay.
All right, any other questions? All right, Mr. Harris, you can move on to the ordinances and resolutions.
So the business being presented to you this evening for your consideration is ordinance number 2024-2, which is an ordinance, we're having a public hearing and final reading to amend the code of the Township of Willingboro, specifically Chapter 272, entitled Duties and Responsibilities of Owner and Operator, by adding a new article entitled Outdoor Placement. And in a nutshell, this is just an ordinance that states that no property shall allow any of certain items to remain on the property outside of a dwelling or other enclosed structure for longer than 48 hours in any location visible from streets or sidewalks adjacent to the property. This would just prohibit persons from putting things outside and leaving things outside of their homes for days and days and days that are an eyesore to the community. Ordinance number 2024-3 is an ordinance which is a public hearing and final reading again to amend the code of Willingboro Township, specifically Chapter 280 entitled Renter Property, by adding a new article entitled Lead-Based Paint Hazard Inspection Requirements for Rental Dwellings. This is getting in line with New Jersey statute 52:27D-43, which requires a lead inspector to inspect every single family and multiple rental dwelling located in a community. Our inspections team have gone out and gotten lead paint testing certified, and I believe even licensed. And we are establishing the criteria and some of the fees related to those inspections and the penalties for violating the ordinance. Resolution number 2024-40 is a resolution authorizing the township to purchase self-contained breathing apparatus, or SCBA, for the fire department. We have a need to acquire these apparatus and associated equipment, and as a contract pursuant to the provisions of NJSA 40A:11-12A. We have to keep our equipment relevant and working and for the safety of our fire department. These funds were allocated back in 2023 in our capital budget, and we're going to be making this purchase in the amount of $310,700.77. Resolution number 2024-41 is a resolution authorizing the township to apply for the local recreation improvement grant through the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs. This is a grant for approximately $100,000 to assist with the upgrading of the existing football field to a multi-sport turf facility. And this is just authorizing the submission of that grant application. Resolution number 2024-42 is authorizing the award of a fair and open contract for the compilation and assembly of preliminary and final official statements related to the issuance of the $4,628,210 bond anticipation note that was put together back in November of 2023. These are for professional service rendered in connection with that. We did that back on November 15th, and that came to a total of $12,500. It's going to be paid to Bowman and Company, who did that work for us. Resolution number 2024-43 is a resolution authorizing the cancellation of old outstanding checks and reconciling items. There are certain checks that have been identified in the municipal court, in our current fund and dog register accounts by our CFO as outstanding. It's necessary for us to cancel these checks so that the balances may be returned to the fund balance of the respective funds. And these are checks from 2021 and 2022. And they total $26 for the municipal account, $26,520 for our current fund account, and $142.80 in the dog register. Resolution number 2024-44 is a resolution approving change order number 3 and final for the FY 2021 NJDOT Municipal Aid Grant for the resurfacing of Pennypacker Drive, Phase 2. This project was completed over the summer of last year. After the NJDOT reviewed the final documents, they gave us a change order number 3 for a reduction in the contract price by $7,863.86 due to asphalt pricing adjustments. So we're going to accept this change order and decrease that contract price and keep our money. Resolution number 2024-45 is a resolution authorizing the cancellation of a contract balance for Zone Striping Incorporated. Last year, the county went and did some line striping throughout the county. We piggyback off of them and got some of our streets striped as well. We awarded initially a contract for $42,007.50. We only utilized $35,704.95. So we are asking that the balance of $6,302.55 be canceled. And again, those funds will be reappropriated into the correct fund balance. Resolution number 2024-46 is a resolution authorizing an increase to the not to exceed amount for Pannoni Associates for the provision of engineering services to Willingboro Township. Last year, Pannoni did a lot of work for Willingboro and has continued to do a lot of work, totaling $760,950 or $790,950. We only allocated $760,000, so we need to give them an additional $30,000 to meet all of their invoices for 2023. Resolution number 2024-27 is a resolution authorizing the funding of the Willingboro Township share of the MAX contract. This contract is related to the collection of trash or bulky items at the municipal apartment and condos. This was based off of a 3-year bid, and these numbers reflect the portion of the contract for the last 2 years. Last year, we allocated 115,000 for this contract. We ended up spending just a little over 111,000. So this year, we're going to appropriate 125,000 for our max collection, and that's what that resolution authorizes. 2024-48 is a resolution authorizing the approval of vouchers for payment and ratification. These are all the bills that need to get paid. Resolution 2024-49 is authorizing the Township of Willingboro to apply for the Traditional Green Acres Grant through the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection Green Acres Program. We actually did this resolution last week, but upon its submission, Green Acres reached back out to us and saying that in addition to urban funding, that we fall within the overburdened community category, which doesn't require matching funds. So the $820,000 that we did apply for would be just a straight out grant with no matching funds from Willingboro Township. So part of that requirement was to submit not only a new letter of acceptance from the mayor, but a new resolution as well. And this is the new amended resolution. Resolution number 2024-50 is a resolution authorizing execution of professional service agreements for not to exceed amounts for 2024. These are all of the not to exceed for our professionals, which are based on the 2023 spend and figures that were submitted in the RFPs to the professionals. So that is just establishing the not to exceed amounts for 2024. Resolution number 2024-51 is authorizing an award of a fair and open contract for professional engineering services related to the Pennypacker Pool assessment and repair. We had done an assessment of the Pennypacker Pool and had determined that it indicates that there are 2 major leaks associated with the pool. The larger of the 2 leaks appears to be due to the stainless steel gutter drain separating from the concrete pool shell around the pool perimeter. And there was a smaller leak appears to be associated with a broken supply or drainage pipe to the splash pad. This is awarding a contract to Pannoni, who is going to go out and acquire repair services through, not through a bid, not shared service. Huh? What? No. Not a coalition. It'll come to me. It'll come to me. Resolution number 2024-52. Co-op. Thank you. Through a co-op. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. He said coalition, that was close, but not there, but thank you, Deputy Mayor. Through a co-op. Resolution number 2024-52 is a resolution authorizing the return to the State Health Benefits Program for medical prescription, and that was authorized or instructed by the governing body at our last meeting. This is just paperwork required by the state of New Jersey to move forward with this process. And for the record, we are going to keep a separate contract with Delta Dental of New Jersey for dental services and vision services. Resolution number 2024-53 is in relation to that as well. As many of our contracts have requirements to pay retirement benefits for employees post-retirement, this is a resolution agreeing to pay the state health benefits for coverage for the certain retirees. Resolution number 2024-54 is a resolution awarding a construction service contract for the 2023 multi-location stormwater infrastructure repair. This project was put out to bid last year. It came in substantially higher than anticipated and exceeded the fundings that were allocated for that project. It was put out for rebid and came back again. And we are awarding to the contract to Think Pavers, Hardscape Landscape, in the amount of $442,191, which is a little more than 50% less than the bid came in last year. The streets or the projects we're going to be doing there's a stormwater project at 115 Clubhouse Drive. We're going to be doing a stormwater project at Clubhouse and Windsor Lane. At Holston Lane, we're going to do some outfall repairs, and we're going to do some culvert repairs at Buckingham. So we're asking you to award that contract to Think Pavers. Resolution number 2024-56. Do you want me to defer that one to the solicitor is relation to? Okay. And I believe that is all that is being presented to you for this evening.
Resolution 2024-56 is the resolution awarding the plenary retail consumption license to RMT Holdings LLC, subject to the completion of the background check in accordance with ABC guidelines. So, at this point, there's 3 resolutions required under the ABC handbook. The first resolution was completed. The application came in October 10th for RMT Holdings, which is run at 911 Smokehouse, I believe. So that gives you time at your next meeting, your first meeting in March, to complete the process within the 6 months required. So the final award will be done then, and then everything can be submitted to ABC in accordance with their regulations.
All right, so we will open up the floor for public comment for agenda items only. You have 2 minutes. Please state your name and address for the record. Public comment for agenda items is now open. Hosts, we have anyone online?
Yes, Mayor. Sarah Holly.
She gets on.
Hello, council. I wasn't really focused as I should have been. I just have a question for
Sorry.
Ms. Harris.
Name and-
You quoted $125,000. Was that having something to do with trash collection? Or did I mishear?
Yes, that was the max contract.
At the end.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Can you please state your address and street? I'm sorry. Can you please state
Oh,
your-
I'm so sorry. 50 years at 9 Tioga Lane, Willingboro.
Okay, that was your question. We'll answer that when. we
Well,
close.
yeah, that was my question. And I guess the other part of it is that hopefully will that impact the number of pickups that we have per week, or will the 1 day a week, 1 trash can prevail?
Got it. Thank you. Is there anything else for public comment for agenda items only? Seeing none. Public comment for agenda items only is now closed. Okay, so we have, if you look at the agenda, there's public comment after. Mr. Harris, you can answer Ms. Holly.
So the answer to Ms. Holly's question was that is the trash collection that the county does on our behalf for apartment and condominium complexes. So it is what it is. It's not going to affect, it's not going to go up, it's not going to go down. It's just our portion. So they bid the whole contract out for the whole county. And then the contract prices are apportioned to each municipality based on their volume. So based on our volume, last year, it's anticipated that this year we'll spend 125,000.
And this is strictly for trash for apartment buildings that we have.
That
Okay.
is correct.
Okay, thank you. All right, Mr. St. Hilaire. Start with the ordinances.
I have two ordinances. The council tonight.
Your microphone, is it on?
See, it's on.
Okay.
Bring it a little closer. There you go. First ordinance, for public hearing and final reading, ordinance number 2024-2. An ordinance to amend the code of the Township of Willingboro, specifically chapter 272 entitled Duties and Responsibilities of Owner and Operator, by adding a new article entitled Outdoor Placing. Motion to adopt?
So move.
Public hearing? The final reading?
For the final?
Final reading, it's the final reading.
We do a motion to adopt.
No, you did the motion to adopt.
No.
And
No,
then-
no. Normally we do the public hearing first, just to hear the final inputs from the
Do
public.
the motion to.
If you would prefer to start it off with the motion to open it for public hearing and then do the motion, allow committee comment and then motion to adopt thereafter.
Motion to open up for public hearing?
Second,
Moved by Deputy Mayor Anderson, seconded by Councilwoman Dr. Worthy. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Perone,
Yes.
Councilmember Whitfield,
Yes.
Councilmember Worthy,
yes.
Deputy Mayor Anderson,
Yes.
and Mayor McIntosh.
Yes. Is it open it up?
Now, we'll now open for a public comment.
You have public comment for this particular ordinance? Okay, you can close it.
Motion to close public comment?
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Councilwoman Worthy, seconded by Councilwoman Whitfield. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Perone,
Yes.
Councilmember Whitfield,
Yes.
Councilmember Worthy,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Anderson,
Yes.
and Mayor McIntosh.
Yes.
Public comment is now closed.
Motion to
Oh.
adopt.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second,
Moved by Councilwoman Perone, seconded by Councilwoman Dr. Worthy. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Perone,
Yes.
Councilmember Whitfield,
yes.
Councilmember Worthy,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Anderson,
Yes.
and Mayor McIntosh.
Yes.
Motion is now adopted.
Yes. We can move to the next one.
Let me go to the.
Next one is, ordinance number 2024-3. That's a public hearing and final reading. It's an ordinance to amend the code of the Township of Willingboro, specifically chapter 280 entitled Rental Property by adding a new article entitled Lead-Based Hazard Inspection, Requirements for Rental Dwellings. Now, a motion to open up for public hearing?
So moved. Second,
Moved by Councilwoman Perone, seconded by Councilwoman Worthy. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Perone,
Yes.
Councilmember Whitfield,
yes.
Councilmember Worthy,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Anderson,
Yes.
and Mayor McIntosh.
Yes.
Public hearing is now open.
Close it.
Close it, go ahead.
Close the public hearing.
Okay. Public hearing, a motion to close public hearing?
So moved. Second,
Moved by Councilwoman Perone, seconded by Councilwoman Worthy. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Perone,
Yes.
Councilmember Whitfield,
yes.
Councilmember Worthy,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Anderson,
Yes.
and Mayor McIntosh.
Yes.
Public comment is now closed.
Motion
Motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
moved by Councilwoman Perone, seconded by Councilwoman Worthy. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Perone?
Yes.
Councilmember Whitfield?
Yes.
Councilmember Worthy?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Anderson?
Yes.
And Mayor McIntosh.
Yes,
Motion ordinance number 2024-3 is now adopted.
thank you. Before we move forward, I'd like to ask any council members, are there any resolutions we would like to pull out for further discussion?
Yes, Madam Mayor, I'd like to have 2024-52 pulled out for discussion.
Okay. Any others? Got 2024-55, that one's pulled out. Any others? Okay, I make a motion for consent agenda, for resolutions 2024-40 through 2024-51 and resolution 2024-53, 2024-54, and 2024-56.
Second.
Moved by Mayor McIntosh, second by Dr. Worthy. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Perone?
Yes.
Councilmember Whitfield?
Yes.
Councilmember Worthy?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Anderson?
Yes.
And Mayor McIntosh.
Yes. I'd like to make a motion to approve that consent agenda.
Second.
Moved by Mayor McIntosh, seconded by Councilwoman Whitfield. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Perone?
Yes.
Councilmember Whitfield?
Yes.
Councilmember Worthy?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Anderson?
Yes.
And Mayor McIntosh.
Yes. Okay, Mr. St. Hilaire, you can, open up resolution 2024-52.
Motion to open up resolution 20,
You have to read it.
resolution 2024-52.
Need a motion?
Motion,
I need a motion for resolution 20.
a motion for to open up resolution 2024-52.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Anderson, seconded by Councilwoman Whitfield. Any discussion?
Yes. So for purposes of clarification, the council had received communication regarding the state health benefit plans. We were offered two options: to do a resolution by March 1st, to have the employees go back June 1st, or we had to do one by May 1st, to have the employees go back by August 1st. So when we questioned the two options, we decided to go with the latter of the two, to approve before May 1st to go back August 1st, because with the contract that we previously have with the previous carrier, there's going to be an overlap of which we would be required to pay two premiums. So instead of having us pay the two premiums, we selected the option, the latter option, to make sure it's approved by May 1st for an August 1st reentry. So I just wanted to make sure that that was clear and the clarification that came behind it. All right, thank you.
Any further discussion? Okay. Mr. St. Hilaire, roll call, please.
Councilmember Perone?
Yes.
Councilmember Whitfield?
Yes.
Councilmember Worthy?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Anderson?
Yes.
And Mayor McIntosh.
Yes. We need to request a motion for 2024-50. You can read the title, so.
Yes, a motion requested for 2024-53, resolution to adopt provision of chapter 48.
You know. Resolution 55.
I'm sorry, you said yes, 52, so 55?
Yes.
Resolution providing a motion to adopt resolution 2024-55, resolution providing appointments to various boards.
Okay. Does anybody have a motion for any?
I'll make a motion for Ms. Dr. Denise King to the Planning and Events Committee,
Parade.
Parade and Events Committee,
And youth advisory.
and Youth Advisory Board as well.
Second.
All right, moved by Councilwoman Perone, seconded by Dr. Worthy. Anyone else? Oh. I'm sorry, any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Perone,
Yes.
Councilmember Whitfield,
Yes.
Councilmember Worthy,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Anderson,
Yes.
and Mayor.
Yes. Thank you. And there's no treasurer's report there's no treasurer report this cycle, correct? Okay. And the approval of the minutes, we will have all of those updated, by this, for approval by March 5th, our first, meeting in March. So we'll have, updated minutes that time. Is there any clerk's update today?
We will have an extensive report on our March,
March
our
5th.
March meeting.
Okay. All right, moving on to unfinished business. Is there any unfinished business? Does any council have any unfinished business? I'd just like to just go back to Mr. Harris's request from his municipal update, that if there's any other input from other council members concerning the SOPs that Councilwoman Perone is bring up, if they have any other input or feedback, please provide Mr. Harris any comments. And I would say by, next Tuesday, the 27th, so he can get that started and completed. Anything else for unfinished business? Any new business from any council members? Okay. Now we will open it up to public comment. Now it's time. Public comment. You have 4 minutes. Please state your name and address for the record. You have 4 minutes, and any questions will be answered after the completion of public comment. Thank you. Mr. St. Helen.
State your name and your address, please.
Name is Barbara Williams, address 21 Roberts Place, Rittenhouse Park. Can I start now? I stress I live in Rittenhouse Park. The other townhouse is Fairmont Park. I previously attended numerous council meetings in 2019 and 2020. I expressed my utter dissatisfaction with this township since you ignored us as a part of this community, a community that you promote as being a family-oriented community. I'm here tonight because, again, we are not just treated like stepchildren, but more so as outcasts of this so-called family community. We pay our taxes, and our home values are equal to or more than some of your single-family homes, like in Buckingham Park and Somerset Park, yet we are denied the same rights, courtesy, and respect that you so freely give to them. I am here tonight because I succeeded in accomplishing years ago something that is once again being denied to the townhouses who want the blue recycling containers. Not the old yellow ones, but the blue ones with the lid and the wheels. In 2019, I complained because we were denied those new blue recycling bins based on the false allegation that the trucks could not maneuver in the townhouse area. That allegation was a blatant lie, which has again resurfaced. My neighbor, who is a veteran, requested the blue recycling bin several times. He was told he lived in the apartments. He stressed he lived in the townhouses, where we do pay taxes, by the way. I went with him on the 3rd or the 4th time, and someone that was named Kevin, he said that we're not entitled to them because the trucks cannot get down into the townhouses, and that is false. I stressed to him, I've had mine for 3 years. Rich Vogel got mine before he left, and I'm happy that he did, because now I'd likely be denied. Mr. Or Kevin, I don't know his last name. I'm assuming from what I heard, he's replacing Rich Vogel, and I hope that's not true, because he was disrespectful and rude when I stressed to him that the garbage trucks come down there and it's the same size container. but yet we're denied the blue recycling that has the wheels and the lids. A lot of us, like myself, we're seniors. We need the wheels. And the lids help control the trash, the bottles and everything from making our neighborhood look bad. Something that you afford to the single family dwellings you don't give to us. And I'm here again for something that was already granted to us. Now, I spoke to Jim McGurl, who is the operations manager at the recycling company. He verified that you, the township, should provide those recycling bins to us. He also verified the trucks have no problems coming in. They use that rear where they're easily accessible to our community. If you have any questions, he's happy to talk to you. He said I could use his name. To you, the council members, I am not only asking that you give us what we are rightfully entitled to, I demand it. And on behalf of the townhouse residents, I insist that you give us the same respect, the same consideration, and the same rights that you so graciously give to all the single family dwellings. Actions speak louder than words, and your actions have excluded us. And I would like for you to respond because on my court I have.
I'm sorry, your time is up.
And we'll respond after we take all questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
I see some residents' hands raised online.
Yes, Mayor. Maddie Mallory.
Good evening, Maddie Mallory in Hudson Place. And this evening, I'm going to speak on my Black History moment. And I decided to speak on this because a comment by a council member from the last meeting motivated me to speak on this matter. And of course, I'm going to talk about something that happened in Orangeburg, South Carolina in 1968, and it was called the Orangeburg Massacre. The Orangeburg Massacre involved events that took place in the town starting February the 5th and ended February the 8th in 1968. At this particular time, there were 3 students that were killed on the campus of South Carolina State University. And of course, their names are Sammy Hammond, who was a freshman. He was shot in the back. Another was Delano Middleton, 17. He was shot 7 times. And the other one, whose name is Henry Smith, he was shot 3 times. All 3 of them were killed during this period called the Orangeburg Massacre. But what I'd like to talk about are the events leading up to the Orangeburg Massacre. And just to give you a background about Orangeburg, South Carolina, it's located approximately 45 miles from the capital, which is Columbia. In Orangeburg, there are 2 universities. The first one is Claflin University. It's the oldest HBCU in the state of South Carolina, and that's my alma mater. The other one is a land-grant university that's called South Carolina State. And of course, it is the alma mater of my good friend, the Honorable James Clyburn. Now, these universities for many years were only separated by hedges. But in 1962, the trustees of South Carolina State, led by the late Strom Thurmond, installed a fence so that the students from South Carolina State University could not participate in the civil rights demonstrations with the students from Claflin University. Our demonstrations grew over the years. So Dr. King, Andrew Young, and others came to Orangeburg to meet with the student leaders and the clergy that were very much supporting us. And the reason they came was to make sure that our demonstrations were organized and would continue the principles of nonviolence. Many days after classes, I carried picket signs downtown in hopes of getting locals and shoppers from the rural areas not to shop in the local stores. At that time, we were known as colored people, and there were signs everywhere in public places that said white only and colored only. We had many peaceful demonstrations, but sometimes we were met with water hoses. And of course, as a result, many students were arrested and placed in deplorable little jails in different towns in and around Orangeburg. I could not get arrested because my mother was a teacher and their jobs were threatened if their children were identified as part of the demonstrations. In 1968,
All right, time is up.
Pickleball had how many minutes longer? And I would hope that you would allow me to.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Thank you,
Your
Ms.
time is up.
Mallory.
Thank you.
All right, Teresa Finch.
Yes, hello? Having a hard time hearing.
Hear you
I
now.
yeah, I had been in the office a few times trying to get some information about Fenton Island. And I've been waiting for, a phone call back or something regarding my responsibility with it. Um, and I was told it was going to be brought up at tonight's meeting, and I haven't heard anything. So I was just checking in on that.
What's your name and address, please?
Teresa Fitch, and I'm at 6 Wharf.
Okay, all questions will be answered after public comment closes. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Will Weston.
Yes, greetings. This is William Weston, 44 Bosworth Lane. I just want to speak as a member of the NAACP. We had an excellent Founders Day event at the Willingboro Library on February 17th, where our keynote speaker was Dr. Stephanie James Harris, the Director of Africana Studies at Seton Hall. And she did an excellent talk about the local history of the NAACP, referencing W.R. James, who was also a president of the NAACP 2 times in history. And earlier, the NAACP encompassed the whole county, not just Willingboro and vicinity. So I just wanted to mention that. And we had, many of our local people and leaders were there. I do want to mention that Assemblyman Conaway was there. I forgot to recognize him while there, but that was an excellent event. And yes, we look forward to continually engaging with the township. I also, as a commissioner, I want to mention that tomorrow there will be a WMUA meeting. So if anyone has any questions about the water quality, or has anything they would like to add about that, that meeting will be a virtual meeting tomorrow at 6 p.m. And you can go to WMUA.info for login information. And it's at 6 p.m. And that concludes my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Weston. Yeah.
Okay, Beulah Williams.
Wait a minute, wait till we get the clock situated. keep the meeting running, I'm gonna keep time up here. All right, just let it go. Donald, I'll do the, yes. Okay, we can. Ms. Williams, if you're talking, I don't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mayor McIntosh. Good evening, Mayor McIntosh. Good evening, Deputy Mayor, Mr. Anderson. Good evening, Council, Township Manager, and everyone. Nice to see you and nice to be here. I noticed a big pothole right, maybe right if you're coming from Levitt Parkway towards John F. Kennedy, passing the fire station. Before you get to the fire station, there's this great big pothole there. Please fix it, please. Thank you. Also, Miss Mallory was talking about Black History Month. It's very interesting. We're having our Black History Day on Saturday, the 24th. You're invited, Miss Mallory. Maybe you can share some of your history with us as well. And of course, I'm inviting our illustrious township manager, of course, our mayor, deputy mayor, council members, fellow citizens, everyone. You're cordially invited, and there will be a lunch served after that. The 24th of February, as I mentioned, and it will be from 11 to 2, including a really nice luncheon after the Black History proceedings. So please come on out. You're all welcome. Mr. Weston has been so gracious. He was invited as well. He couldn't come because of a previous engagement. He actually had somebody take his place or fill in for him, which I think was very gracious. Please bear in mind, well, you know what? I appreciate all the work the council, the mayor and the council are doing. I see you have an interest in our community, and you know, you're working hard, Ms. Perone, the mayor, deputy mayor, everybody, and we really appreciate you. God bless you, and if I'm missing anything, next time. God bless you. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Ms. Williams.
You're welcome.
Mr. Gary, you can come on. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Good evening, Gary Johnson, 54 Gramercy Lane. I admit that I'm heavily biased in this, but at 85, I don't give a damn. There was a time before COVID when there was a marvelous feeling within the world, especially within the community, of volunteerism. Many organizations were formed at that time, and people were willing to volunteer their time and services. One of them was CERT. I was one of the first members of that organization. I think we were one of the first CERT units in the area. And we formed together and did a lot of training. We were able to provide services to some people during some emergency situations. And I was very proud of that unit. From CERT, I became a member of County CERT, member of CART, member of MRC, and of course, Neighborhood Watch. But then COVID came along and darn near killed off everything. And one of the things that darn near killed off was volunteerism. So when COVID kind of began to fade away, these organizations began to try and reassemble. It wasn't easy, strangely enough, but it wasn't. You didn't just bang and everybody was back. But we were getting back and we were getting organized. And then something happened. And you know what I'm referring to when I say the man who dedicated 30+ years of service to this community was cast aside. An eventual result of that was that on February 2nd, I received an email. We no longer had any leadership. All of it had vanished. For all intent and purposes, Wellingboro CERT is no more. Great job, guys. I really must say, with all due respect, that was not one of your finest moments.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Johnson. Any other public comment? I keep seeing a hand pop up online.
Yeah, Shirley Dilworth.
Please let her on.
Good evening, everyone. Shirley Dilworth, Newport Lane. I just have one question and one comment. My question is, will going forward, will the community have access to the agenda and copies of the resolutions online the way we had it in the past? And my comment is about the NAACP exhibit at the library. I just want to say it is an awesome exhibit. It is educational, very inspirational. It really is awesome. And I would encourage all of the residents of Willingboro, to visit it, before the end of the month. And I'd like to thank the leadership of the NAACP, and I hear Mr. Weston, who's there tonight, spoke about that, and other members who were involved in putting that exhibit together. I'd just like to thank you, for the exhibit. It is a beautiful exhibit, a wonderful exhibit, and it is something that we all should see. As we all know, the NAACP has played a very significant role, in the area of civil rights and in this country. So thank you again for your exhibit. Good night, all.
Thank you, Ms. Dilworth.
All right, Sarah Holly.
Nine Tioga Lane again. So, for once, I guess I'm gonna have to agree with Will Weston about something. The Black History event put on by the NAACP on Saturday was really an excellent, excellent presentation of history. And I really enjoyed Stephanie James Harris' presentation. Her history of how the Black residents of Willingboro came to be here was excellent. It's an excellent presentation. I also want to commend Mayor McIntosh for the excellent job she did at Congressman Kim's celebration of Black history. And the title was Black History Through the Eyes of the Divine Nine. She did a great job with that. And I want to thank Councilwoman Perrone and Councilman Anderson for coming out last night to support me as I was sworn in as the president of the Burlington County chapter of the Federation of Democratic Women. So thank you for that. And now to a question for you that you're probably not going to like, but here it is anyway. So when you put in an OPA request, if the OPA request is relative to the person who we're supposed to turn that OPA request in, whether the person is actually fulfilling the OPA request or training the person who has to fulfill the OPA request, that's a conflict. So who handles the conflicts with the OPA request? And that's the first question. Second question is, who is the attorney that handles the OPA requests now? And thank you. That's
Okay.
all tonight.
Thank you. We'll answer the questions as soon as we close out public comment. All right.
Anybody else?
All right, we have Tarina Williams.
Ms.
Good
Williams,
evening, Mayor.
go ahead.
I'm sorry. Good evening, Mayor McIntosh, Deputy Mayor Anderson, Councilwoman Whitfield, Councilwoman Dr. Worthy, and Councilwoman Perone, Township Manager Harris, and and fellow residents. Tarina Williams, 8 Botany Circle. I also wanted to extend a invitation to everyone for our Black History Month tribute celebration this coming Saturday, February 24th. The theme is yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We should honor the innumerable accomplishments that our ancestors did for us, honor the service we're doing, and then help to inspire tomorrow's leaders. Service is at 11, followed by our lunch right after the service. It's for all age groups. So I'm extending an invitation. And if you don't already have a commitment, please join us. Our service will feature Mr. Harris. We love when he prays at the council meeting. So we invited him to do our family prayer for this Saturday's service. So please join. I really appreciate the fact that whenever we have community service programs, or whether it be on Sunday or Saturday, that we can always count on a representative from the township to take the time when they can to attend and or participate in the service. We greatly appreciate it. Dr. Saluki, Vice President of the NAACP, she'll be participating as well. So we greatly appreciate and admire what the NAACP has been doing at the Willingboro Public Library for Black History Month, and of course, all that they do. On Tuesdays, our church hosts a health talk from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. right now, taking place on cancer prevention. But if you want to make a note of where to go on Zoom, the meeting ID number is 871-0209. The last 4 digits are 5224. And then the passcode is Adventist, ADVENTIST. Our health ministry director, Temi Fashanu, Mrs. Temi Fashanu, who's a nurse practitioner. She does it on a wide array of things to help us have healthy and happy lives. Tonight's was on cancer prevention. It's normally geared toward the health awareness of this particular American Heart Month, as well as cancer. So please be encouraged. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, but I truly appreciate all of you individually hard work and collectively as a body. You have your differences of opinion, but all of you commonly and passionately serve our community with love and compassion. So may God richly bless you individually and collectively as a body. Thank you for your time. Have a good night.
Thank you, Ms. Williams.
You're welcome.
All right. Public comment is now closed. Mr. Harris, can we start with?
So blue recycling bins are available. Recycling is picked up by the county, and my understanding of that arrangement was that the county trucks could not get into the Rittenhouse Square and Fairmont Parks, so they were picking up those collections manually by hand and rear loading those trucks. So that was the reason that I understood why they had the yellow carts or the yellow cans instead of the blue ones. So there are cans that are available, and for Rittenhouse. We have blue recycling bins available. Yeah, what is Miss Williams's address? Miss Williams will have a blue recycling can tomorrow. Well, then,
Can you send an email to, Mr. Harris? We'll follow up with that, make sure, you said your neighbor needs, who needs? No, no. So.
okay.
We'll get in contact with you right after this meeting. Just. Okay, Miss Mallory, 8 Hudson, oh, I'm sorry, Miss Mallory, I do appreciate you sharing, a story of Black history. Unfortunately, our public comment is 4 minutes, so, we do appreciate what you shared, especially during Black History Month. And then also Teresa Fick for the Fenton Island, Mr.
Yeah, we communicated with her just today that that item would be discussed in executive session, and it will be discussed in executive session.
Executive session. Okay. So this is executive session discussion, Ms. Teresa. So we will convene in closed doors to discuss this matter. Ms. Beulah Williams. Yeah. Ms. Beulah Williams had the pothole around Charleston Road.
Yes, we will take care of that pothole.
We'll take care of that, okay. Mr. Gary Johnson did indicate initially COVID did kill volunteerism. That did happen, and we are seeing an uptick. Well, from our perspective, we are seeing an uptick in people coming back out and giving their time to help the community. It did go down, after COVID, to your point. And you also said that I want to say killed the CERT. Can you speak more of I think you're talking about the OEM? Okay. And that we're still in the process of.
Yes, we have, Captain Bucks and I are working to recruit a new OEM coordinator. We have some individuals who have a lot of experience here in Willingboro who are interested in that position. I think some of the circumstances that Mr. Johnson may be aware of may be a little skewed because there was some conversations, but the OEM coordinator was not dismissed by this governing body. And he actually just submitted his resignation a few weeks ago. So that's just reality.
Councilwoman Whitfield?
Yes, also to Mr. Johnson's point, we have recognized a sharp drop in volunteerism, not only in Willingboro, but across the nation. And the township, in partnership with the Willingboro Community Development Corporation, is doing a volunteer fair on April 27th. There it is. It's right next to it. On April 27th, and we invite all Willingboro-based nonprofit organizations, volunteer organizations, and organizations that do work in Willingboro that are looking for volunteers to join that. If you have interest in having a table there for CERT or, trying to engage more residents to be a part of that, you can call 609-491-1732. And if you have any other questions about that, I'm happy to answer them.
I heard that. Did anybody go over the agenda?
Oh, I'm about to go. You're about to do it, yeah. All right, moving on to Ms. Dilworth's concerns. Can somebody give me an update on the status of resolutions and agendas being put on the website? Is that not happening now? No. Yes, can you?
It was happening prior to the transition from Ms. Blygen to Mr. Garcia. I'm not sure if anyone else, and maybe Donald might be better positioned to answer that, if anybody else had the resources to add that to the section where it is, with the integration from Granicus to Peak Agenda. However, that training is available. We can make sure that, I don't want to.
So it's it's the
That
clerk
would be in the
responsibility. Let me
clerk's
just make it
office,
clear. It's the
yes.
clerk's responsibility, clerk's office responsibility to upload that to the website.
Correct.
Okay, so we will make sure, Ms. Dilworth, we will make sure that that continues. Thank you for bringing that, to our attention. We will definitely have the agendas.
So, yeah, and I did notice that actually, today's agenda is up there. It's on, upcoming events. This exact agenda is there. The only thing I wanted to say, it says February 20th, it's there, is that, what's uploaded, it doesn't, it's just like how we have it in our packets, like, on each page, it doesn't say the resolution dash the exact number.
Okay.
Just wanted to make sure that we add that, but it is there, I see it. But last meeting was not, but somebody did it for this meeting. So whoever did it, we need to continue doing that. So thank you for doing that. It's right there on agenda and minutes, that tab. If you go to Township Clerk, it says, agenda and minutes, and it says upcoming events, Township Council meeting, and the agenda is packet, the whole packet is there. So, but that is the only one. And then we have available archives. The last one that was up there is January 30th. The link is not working though. I did try to open it.
Okay.
It is blank. I also checked our resolutions. The last time our resolutions was added was in 2022. So we are missing all of 2023. But
All right, so we'll follow with that and we'll get that situated, in the next couple of weeks. Make sure we're on board for our next meeting. And make sure people can have access to our agendas and resolutions. I believe we did have that on.
yeah,
Okay.
send you the link to see it.
Thank you, Ms. Dilworth, for bringing that to our attention. Ms. Holly, had some questions about Oprah request and who's filling them out, and if there's a conflict, if the Oprah request is concerning the person doing the Oprah request. But I think we have, can you give an update on the status of the registrar's office now? Or who's doing the Oprahs now?
The Oprahs are done by the clerk's office,
Okay, so so the deputy clerk at this point.
would be responsible
Okay.
for Oprah requests.
And I know we put out for an Oprah request attorney. Did
Yeah.
that come back yet? No, we didn't vote on that yet.
I am not aware of one coming back. I know, the attorney used to work at Florio Perucci. I can't remember his name.
Nick.
Nick, yeah.
Sullivan?
And, Nick Sullivan.
Okay, so I'll follow up with that this week. But is there anything we can say about the Oprah request? There's. Okay, Ms. Holly, we'll get back to you, with your question. Okay, we'll be moving on to, I think we have executive session. Or no, I'm sorry, council comments. Council have any comments tonight?
Yes, just want to thank everyone for coming out. I had the opportunity along with the mayor, Dr. Worthy, to attend a wrestling tournament at JFK. It was a beautiful, beautiful event. The police department had donated a wrestling mat that was out of this world. When I spoke to Captain Bucks, he said it was funds or confiscated funds that they had to allocate, and it went for a wonderful, wonderful purpose. It was great to see the logo. It had what we stood for: integrity, honor. It was a beautiful, beautiful mat. And in addition to that, the police department, I think one of the police unions, did matching funds for a total donation of $5,000 to the wrestling program. So that was just a great event to attend, to see the surrounding communities, the babies wrestling on up. So that was a wonderful event I had the opportunity to attend. Also, once again, last night I had the opportunity to see Miss Sarah Holly get sworn in as the president for the Borough Co. Federation of Democratic Women. Also to mention that another Willingboro resident, Miss Angelina Martinez, serves on that committee as well as the coordinating secretary. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Any other council have any comments?
Briefly. Good evening, everyone. Just want to say thank you for coming out and just to let everyone know that the council will be kickboxing tomorrow, or is it tomorrow, right? Kicking it with the council. But I'm looking forward to that. And I also wanted to also, I attended Ms. Holly's event. She was sworn in as the president of the Burlington County, the Federations of Democratic Women, along with also Ms. Angelina Martinez. So congratulations to Ms. Holly and Ms. Martinez. That's all I have for this evening.
Thank you, Councilwoman Perone. Dr. Worthy?
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Well, thank you everyone for coming out today. I also wanted to talk a bit about Black History. Where ATAP's doing an event, Black History Celebrity Night, Friday night for the students. And we continue to celebrate Black History all year long, but particularly every Friday night in February. And the students will be dressing up as history makers that they've learned about and coming out to celebrate. Today, I wanted to highlight Shirley Chisholm, who is someone who I highly respect and admire. For those of you who may have forgotten, a brief refresher, she became the first African-American Congresswoman in 1968. And 4 years later, she became the first major party Black candidate to make a bid for the United States presidency. And what I also love about Shirley Chisholm is she was a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and she was known for being a sister. She was known for caring and doing things in love and bringing people together and not being divided. And so that's something that I think is really important, at least for me as a public servant, to make sure that I work together to unite the community and not to do things that would divide or make a mess, if you will. But there was a quote that she had that I really appreciated. She said, "You don't make progress by standing on the sidelines, whimpering and complaining. You make progress by implementing ideas." And so I really commend this council for the implementation of so many different ideas and working to unite the community, to work together to try to make this a better Willingboro. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
All right, thank you. And another great event that is happening locally, the Underground Railroad Museum of Burlington County is doing a celebration of local iconic heroes and sheroes at Rowan College of Burlington County on February 23rd. So if you are interested in going to that, it will be from 6 to 9 p.m. in Vada Hall for that one. Also, in the manager's report, I did just take a note that there were some carbon monoxide and smoke detector calls with the EMS and fire department. So if it's a new year, you may not have checked, but please make sure you check your fire alarms as well as your carbon monoxide detectors. Make sure those are all in good working order so that we can stay safe for the new year.
Thank you, Councilwoman Whitfield. I just like to first thank everyone who came out to voice their concerns and their issues. That's what we're here for. And that, like I always say, you are our eyes and our ears, and some things we don't know. So I definitely appreciate all those who had comments for public comment to let us know of the issues that you may be having, and we'll do our best to solve them. And as Black History Month does come to an end, we are reminded that there are a lot of events going on to participate in, and we do celebrate Black History all year. But make sure you check out some of the events that we have going on, and then definitely go to the library and check out the exhibit. With that said, I appreciate everyone for coming out. Have a great night. We will be going into executive session though.
Yes, Madam Mayor. Executive session is needed for matters involving pending or anticipated litigation or contract negotiation, matters involving personnel or employment, and/or matters falling within attorney-client privilege. Thank you.
Motion to go into executive?
Yes. You could say it. in-
Yeah, motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Anderson, seconded by Dr. Worthy. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Peron,
Yes.
Councilmember Worthy,
Yes.
Councilmember Whitfield,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Anderson,
Yes.
and Mayor McIntosh.
Yes.
Now in executive. Mhm.
Yeah, thank you.
There we go. Motion to come out of executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Anderson, seconded by Councilwoman Worthy. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Peron,
Yes.
Councilmember Whitfield,
Yes.
Councilmember Worthy,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Anderson,
Yes.
and Mayor McIntosh.
Yes.
We're officially out.
No, making, yep. Yep, we're officially out of executive session. Make a motion for adjournment.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Peron. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays?
Except for Donald. Stacy. No nays.
All right,
Time-
thank you. Yep.
The time is